top 5 thoughts on the Big Ten TV deal. We've kind of gone through all this already, but I wanted to recap it at the end of the show for our late arrivers. So number 5, is the market set? So is this really what the market is? Like, what is the number, and how does that drop from league to league now that the Big Ten market is set? And we don't really know the answer to that question, but I'm curious to see what the market will be after that.
Yeah, I mean, could ESPN in theory say, well, they're worth $1.5 billion or whatever the final total is, so that means the Big 12's worth $500?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the number. I'm just throwing that completely like mud.
They could say we offered them 5 years, 3.8 or whatever it is, that $380 million. That was the offer that was made. But we don't think you're worth $380.
That was one offer.
Yeah, one offer. But like, we don't think you guys.
Wasn't it also for half the game?
Yeah, it's like a slice of the offer.
We offered 380, or this was the offer. Was 380. We think the Pac-12 is worth 275, and the Big 12 is worth 275. And I'm just saying that. So that's what we're going to do for that. So you're not going to get 380, but you're going to get 275. And I don't know that. That means $100 million less, but that's what I wonder on down the line with these.
I mean, you are only worth what someone will offer you. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see, a TV, channel that we're talking, or TV channel, but a network that we're talking about. Like, yes, say, when we just spent $350 million on the Big Ten, we're not going to offer crazy money for the Pac-12 or the Big 12. But I also know that they're smart enough on the other side to go, oh, we know that you like live sports, and we know that you like college football, and we know you like the Dallas market and the Houston market, So that will be an interesting little battle, and that's where Brett Yormark comes into play more than ever. But, yeah, I mean, we don't know what the market is, and certainly you can't judge it just by simply what the Big Ten's doing because they're in their own little universe with the SEC, obviously.
And number 4, what's the streaming component? Is it Peacock? Is it Paramount Plus? Is Amazon involved in this?
All right, name them. So Amazon, Apple?
I would say in this order, here's who I think would be Peacock, Paramount, Amazon, and then way down the list and 4th would be Apple. That's who'd be really interested in this.
Wait, say that again.
Peacock,
which is NBC.
Paramount.
CBS.
Because they both have it. Amazon, and then Apple. I don't know if Apple's ready to get into college sports. I don't think that's I mean, I think they'll do pro sports first, and I think that Amazon, like one of those two is going to get the NFL Sunday ticket, so we'll see.
I saw somebody make the joke last night, say, at this rate, Pac-12 After Dark will be on Tubi. And I started laughing
Which was Fox.
Yeah, so, but you're missing the ABC, ESPN, Disney here as well.
Well, they can't be in the Big Ten deal because they're out.
That's right. I thought you were just naming streamers in general.
No, yeah. So it's the stream component of this. So, yeah, ESPN Plus is out of this. Hulu's out of this. So that would leave Paramount and Peacock, or Peacock and Paramount to me, to be the biggest ones. And just based on what I've seen from those two streamers, Peacock might be leaning a little harder into the live sports than Paramount is right now, but that doesn't mean that this opens the door for it. And maybe they both get some of it. I don't know. Who knows? Try to find Yellowstone. It's on like 3 different streaming services. It's kind of like
Starts this fall, right? Another season?
Yeah. Okay. So, we'll see. Number 3, on the same stations as the NFL on Saturday. And now look, ESPN has the NFL on Monday nights, and Amazon will have them on Thursday nights. And if Amazon is part of the streaming component, then they have that covered too, and just leaving on ESPN. But the value to me in having a day like the Big Ten that you would in the NFL, where fans would kind of surf around. Cross-promotion and all that is huge. And it's really smart to get people, because people are creatures of habit when it comes to watching sports and doing things. So if your habit on Saturday, if they can make that as your same habit on Sunday, then that's pretty good.
Who has more people watching than anything else?
The NFL.
All right, well, that means the Big Ten is going to be promoted by something that has more people watching than anything else.
The way I've always thought about it is, the reason that Southwest Airlines is so easy to fly is they, from the beginning, said, we're going to do away with these kind of things, and we're going to have this. Our flight's going to be cheaper because they're not first class, and, there's open seating and all that stuff. And I've wondered why more people haven't followed that model, especially airlines that have failed, because it's pretty easy to copy. And CBS, and we've had Tim Brando on many times saying, why doesn't college football own Saturday like football, the NFL owns Sunday. Well, CBS, or not CBS, but the Big Ten is trying to do that now. And so I thought that to me is the most impressive part of this deal is the broadcast networks would still get the best ratings on live sports. You're on 3 of the 4 biggest ones, and the 3 that have the NFL during the day on Sunday. So I think that's huge. Number 2, kind of following that, it's broadcast network heavy. And that is big because, look, that CBS 7 o'clock window central, it averages 9 million viewers. The CBS 3:30 averages like 5 million viewers over the years. Though the Fox, those are huge windows and even bigger than ESPN, the cable stations' individual numbers, because there are still people who don't have cable that way and go over the air.
Will those numbers change because it's the Big Ten, even though there's a massive alumni base, compared to the SEC games?
I would think that there might be some fluctuation, but the Big Ten is betting it's not.
No, I know. It'll be interesting to see how that falls.
Yeah. I think,
not falls down,
and I do think, and I didn't get into this, I don't think the Big Ten will have as many marquee matchups as the SEC does, because the bottom of the SEC is a little bit shallower. I mean, there's not than the bottom of the Big Ten right now. Now, that can always change over time, but, there's not too many big duds in the SEC where both teams are like womp womp womp. So as there are in the Big Ten, where you could get a Northwestern Indiana game and that one's not going in prime time. So bottom line, and number 1, no ESPN. I mean, like this. The reason we bring this up again is ESPN is out of this, and they've had a long relationship with it. And
will they go to game day at any of the Big Ten sites?
Is it worth it to them to go to game day?
Let's do Big Noon Kickoff, Fox.
Yeah, that's Big Noon Kickoff. So sometimes now there are Big Noon Kickoff games and game day games in the same spot. But now does ESPN, want to go and through all that trouble when they could go and promote?
Number 1 against number 2, and let's say it is Ohio State against Michigan.
Yeah.
They're not going to go there. Unless it's because it's the weekend of like some other massive rivalry, they're not going to be at the game in college football because they don't have the games.
And those are things that I wonder, especially if you have 4 other brands to promote under your umbrella. Which, if let's just say everything stays mostly status quo and they make good deals for the Pac-12 and Big 12, now you have to kind of put the weight that you put behind the SEC and ACC, maybe not as much as the SEC, behind those other leagues. So, yeah, you got to promote them. So, yeah, maybe you're not there. Maybe you're at Clemson versus Miami that same week.
I don't think anything necessarily prevents them from doing that. Yeah, so they could in theory if they want to. And I think if there's an unavoidable situation, what do you put in opposite Ohio State, Michigan if Fox Big Noon Kickoff is there? Like, what is the game you're throwing up against that?
Yeah.
Is it, is it Texas Tech Baylor? Okay, that's probably, you know what? Yeah, we should probably go to Ohio State, Michigan too. And I say that with all due respect for both of those schools, but like audience-wise, it's not even close. So, yeah, I think that they'll be smart about that, but yeah, it doesn't, ban them from being able to do so, but I'm sure they'll be calculated, in regards to what they pick and choose and how they do that. I definitely don't think they're going to be going there on a regular basis. Promote something that's not theirs.
It will be interesting. It will be interesting how they do that. And Bob Thompson said earlier he thought he heard the concerns about how ESPN handled the NHL when they lost it to NBC, but he said he didn't quite see much of a drop off. I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
It's to be fair to hockey, it's college football versus hockey. I think there's also that as well. If look, I'm going to see more hockey probably if it's on ESPN than if it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, I am. College football, I'm going to go seek out. But I'm not seeking out hockey necessarily. And so if it's on ESPN, then boom, I'll probably see it. But if it's not, then I probably am not going to see it. So I think there is something to being on ESPN. I just think that it's not the end-all, be-all necessarily. It's not the only route to go, whereas at one point in time they were.
Yeah.
And they played a role into where we are now. And,
Yep. The Congo, ESPN's trying to say they quit before the Big Ten fired them.
Yeah. In some ways, yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate all the chat. Man, there's so many.